Hi, and welcome to another episode of I Got My PS5. I got my PS5
In
in
5D.
5D.
You have a 5D PS5,
I
and I feel
do.
like
It is
that's
an
gotta be
extra special
special.
PS5. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Yeah, so the harrowing story was it was delayed for a couple of days. And me being the paranoid asshole that I am, I was like, they stole it. I swear to God, they stole it. Because, like, the tracking was like, it's in Sacramento. And then it was like, it's in Arizona. I'm like, what?
Some of
But
those things do take weird ass paths like that, though.
yeah, and then it finally showed up, and the box had like half ripped off tape, and it was damaged, and all kinds of craziness. But so far, it seems to be working well. Looks like the innards weren't affected at all.
Yeah, he
Um,
did. The box was really messed up. It was pretty bad.
I was sharing pictures and everything because I was like, look at this, look how it came in.
At least it's
Um,
working though.
Yo, yeah, it's working, and I've been playing the crap out of it. Um, Funny enough, though, I really kind of hate the aesthetics. It's really stupid looking. Like,
Why?
well, just because of how it was designed, you have to have a stand that's not really a stand. It's basically the equivalent of picking if your dining room table wobbles, you just stick a piece of newspaper under it. That's
What are you talking? Like what looks bad?
So unless you put that stand in, the PS5 like comes down and is
Oh,
angled all
oh.
stupid.
I thought you were trying to be metaphorical. You're being literal. That garbage, plasticky, feels cheap, 3D printed in 5 minutes physical stand that they give you.
Yeah, that well no,
Yeah, it's hot garbage.
that's hot garbage. And also like without it though, like the PS5 looks dumb because it's like leaning over and shit.
Yeah, it's not meant to be put up without it.
But I just can't. Ever since they scratched a bunch of my games, I just refuse to stand these things up.
Yeah, same.
Like even my wife.
Well, I am running my XSX standing up.
Oh, are
Wait,
you?
you're drinking.
Oh yeah, of course.
Salud.
Salud to el boy. But yeah, so by the way, I'm drinking the El Capitan, and some zero vanilla cherry Coke. Not even ashamed.
Gross.
But yeah, so that stand is kind of garbage. It, like I said, it is literally the equivalent. Also on a design basis, this is where I do fault them. Like, it's the equivalent of sticking newspaper under your wobbly table. I was laughing my ass off. Like, my wife's even like, "Why don't you just stand it up?" I'm like, "You never stand up consoles. If I plan on using discs on any of these consoles, I'm not sending them up." Um,
I am running my XSX vertical just because it didn't fit right on the shelf I was putting it on without it, and I was like, look, I really do use this media center more than I run games in it. I really do. So I'm gonna risk it because I'm told a lot of people ran the last one, the Xbox One vertical, and never had that disc problem. And I was like, okay, it's been a full generation since the 360 chewed the fuck out of our discs.
yeah,
Let's trust
but
that
even the
two
original
generations
Xbox
later.
too.
You weren't supposed to run the original Xbox vertical.
I thought you were able to as well.
No, that was the 360 that did that. The PS2 you could run vertical.
That might be what I was thinking of, but it also fucked up your games. Same problem.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, I'm trusting it, and especially since I'm not using it that way as much. I think it'll be fine.
Well, you tell me how it goes, and we'll go from there.
So far, so good. Oh, I don't mean to steal your thunder here, but I did end up finishing Control.
Okay, let's talk about it because we haven't talked about it yet, and I've been dying to.
Why don't you go first?
No, because I've already talked about it. I did a full review.
So I like the world building.
Okay.
I hate the gameplay.
Why? Like
A lot of it
specifically.
felt really underbaked. Like there were clearly lots of things where they're like, "Oh, you'll notice this right away," and I didn't, and it wasn't like once, it was like several times. There were just things where I was like wandering around in the room next to what I needed without ever realizing that was what I needed. Like the game just does not explain anything to you. And yes, I realize a lot of people are like, yeah, it means it doesn't hold your hand. There's a step between holding your hand and having something be clear enough in what you're like, at least in Borderlands. And I'm like, it wouldn't work in this game. I'm not saying do this exactly, but
Yeah,
Borderlands, whatever you're interacting with always had that distinctive orange color or green color, whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Like, it was always glowing.
Yeah.
Whatever you needed to go and poke was always glowing. This tries to have this little like bit that zeroes in on things, but the problem is it's an atmospheric game, and so often lighting blocks you from seeing that thing pop up. And it's just I don't like the flying controls. The flying controls are so stupid. So hold A to levitate, press A to drop. You would think it would be press and hold A to drop slow, but it is press A, press and hold A to lower slow. And I'm like, why? Why would you make that the more just press and hold? Is the obvious choice.
While I agree with you, there's a couple of games that do it like that. I think
that doesn't make it okay.
I know. I just think it's kind of becoming a bit of the standard for flying controls like that.
Awful. It is awful. I also don't like and I get like this is part of the quote unquote difficulty, but this is what I call fake difficulty in games. There are several bosses that float right above you while damaging the floor below you. So there's no way to look at both places at the same time. And I will say this is one of those games. I'm not saying I never died in combat, but I'd say a solid 80% of my deaths were just from falling off of something stupid. And not even like an Uncharted. Like Uncharted, there's a lot of jumpy puzzles where you're supposed to die a lot from falling off of things. It doesn't seem to me that this game was really trying to get you with those, ooh, that was a hard jump. It's just you're doing combat and you can't look in two places at once. And ooh, suddenly the floor's gone. I also don't love that enemies can spawn on you, like right on top of you if you just happen to be in the wrong spot. Guess replay that chunk and don't stand there. There's just a lot of convenient ways to kill you, which to me, I'm like, skill couldn't have fixed this. It's a gotcha kind of moment. You know what I mean? It's do better on the second run. Now you know that's there. I don't like that kind of gameplay. It's not like even games like Crash Bandicoot do this a lot. There's those points where until you get to that point, you'd never know that thing was there.
Yeah.
And it's going to kill you once. I don't like that kind of gameplay because again, you can't be better than that. They just go, this is what's going to happen to you right now.
Oh,
like, think of it in D&D terms. If there was just like that's the if you step on that spot, that's the murder spot. You're dead.
Okay.
There's nothing, and there's a lot of that.
I think I know what you're talking about. I only really ran into it once, and then it was in my head, and I kind of accounted for it.
Oh no, they were literally like there's the little explodey guys. There's guys who like run up to you and explode.
Yeah.
There was at least 3 points in that game where I was like standing there having a shootout, and 3 of those would spawn next to me, just go boom, 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 you're dead. And I was like, okay, the lesson is don't be here.
Okay.
It just seems dumb that the game allows it to spawn on top of you, and not even like I'm getting into weird corners and spots that would be spawn points. Like I was just taking cover, and fuck me.
Okay. Yeah, I guess
I love that.
That's fair enough. I just really liked how it was utter fucking chaos during most of the fights.
I can't. So yeah, the gameplay, the combat. I also don't do a whole lot of third-person shooter kind of stuff. It's not my genre.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm at a disadvantage, like not playing a lot of those games because I don't like. I play them occasionally. A lot of times they're really difficult, and I like stories, and I don't like the gameplay. So this is a running theme. But having said that, I did like the madness of the game in general. The ashtray maze or whatever was super fun, and like the soundtrack changing and how you run through it. Super fun. Loved that. That was great. And there were a lot of really cool moments and a lot of really cool enemies. The ending was a little weak. Like, not bad, but a little weak. Though I did not 100% the game, and it might have a different ending if you do that. There's lots of stuff I didn't do.
Yeah.
I'm not going to... Like, the jukebox missions, hated those. Tried it twice, hated it, never doing it again.
Yeah. My problem was that it went from difficulty like 5 to like 10.
Yeah,
Like you're playing the normal game and they let you use the jukebox. I think it's only supposed to be post game content, but I'm like,
it's
why?
fucking redunk.
Yeah,
It's yeah, no, didn't enjoy that.
yeah, that's fair.
But there is a lot to like. I liked it to the point where I was suggesting it to people. Like when I have friends who I know enjoy those kind of games, like you like the Mass Effects and the Uncharted. Like for
Yeah.
fans of those, you will probably like this. And again, the story and the atmosphere are super super cool. I don't like the gameplay, and it is buggy. I'm not playing Cyberpunk, but I'm hearing everybody talk about how buggy Cyberpunk is, and I'm playing this and going, well, fuck this.
Wait, what?
There were several points where I had to restart because things weren't triggering. Like I'm wandering around in this room for like 20 minutes going like, what is wrong? And I'll go look it up online and they're like, yeah, you just go take this control point. And I'm standing in the control point and there's no light. There's no
Interesting.
button click. I had to restart the game. And then it was like, retake the room. Now you can, and that happened several times. And I think there are
Weird.
some cutscenes that aren't supposed to have audio, but there was at least one cutscene where I'm 100% sure it was supposed to have audio and it didn't. Because one character was speaking broken, like it would say a word or two of them,
That's
and
weird.
then the other characters wouldn't say anything. So it was, yeah, so I'm playing it on Game Pass, so I have like the download version, but buggy as fuck when I played it, really buggy.
What did you play it for?
XSX.
Oh, okay. So you played it on
Series X.
console. I played it on PC, so I didn't have any of those issues.
Okay, yeah. So
That's why I was so like. I think one point I had a graphical issue where I fell through the floor, like one time.
Oh, I never had that.
Yeah. It was in one of the times where you're in the like other realm and you got those like shiny platforms.
Mm-hmm.
I made the jump, and then
Those
just
were.
kept going.
Those pissed me off too, though, because there was a couple times in those where it'll tell you your objective, it'll be like, take out this guy using this ability, and the guy's there, and I'm like, how do I use the ability?
Yeah.
How do I use the ability? And like, it'll slowly fade up, and I'm like, lead with press this button,
Yeah.
then tell me to kill him.
Yeah.
Just stupid little designs like that, where I'm like, you didn't try, guys. You didn't try.
Yeah, it felt like there were a couple of elements that were a little bit rushed, honestly.
Yeah.
But I will say, I would give it Game of the Year for me
Oh, good lord.
easily.
No.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
No.
Not-
Can't agree with that, but again, I do think people who enjoy that gameplay style more than I do will really like the game.
honestly, I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed Borderlands 3.
Yeah, I won't go that far.
I'm just saying because Borderlands 3 was more of the same. This felt fresh. Like even the ambiance, the world building, they took a lot of care. Did you do the DLC yet?
I don't think Game Pass has the DLC. I think you still have to buy that.
Oh, there's an Alan Wake tie-in that's fantastic.
Yeah, and that's actually what got me to play. And I do really. Alan Wake is on Game Pass as well, and I do want to play.
I
Alan Wake, but
downloaded it. I think I'm gonna go through it. I just have to make sure the fans.
you got your Series X and you downloaded Alan Wake. I got my Series X and I downloaded Fusion Frenzy.
Dude, I downloaded all kinds of shit. I'm also kind of quasi starting Final Fantasy 15, the J-pop Magic Ninjas.
Yeah, you let me know. I really don't like 13. I don't like the live action combat in my Final Fantasy games. I want turn based.
I will say that the first time that they did it, I hated it, but this feels like a good combo between God of War and Final Fantasy. So far I'm not hating it. I will say that I like it more than I liked oh my god, not Chrono Trigger. No. There was the Switch game Xenosaga?
Oh yeah.
Xenoblade? Maybe Xenoblade is what I'm talking about. But it was one of those where it kind of just does auto combat and you choose the type of attack he does next. And I always felt like that's really fucking boring. I could never get through that game.
I other than saying it's a lot like Call of Duty, I don't think there's any other game you could have crossed Final Fantasy with that would make me immediately lose interest in it.
Oh, Xenoblade?
No, God of War. I
Oh.
like God of War, but I don't want God of War in my Final Fantasy. It's my entire problem with the franchise after like 12 is
Well,
it's all like it's not turn-based combat anymore, and I'm not interested
that's
in.
fair. How do you feel about Castlevania then? Like
So
Lord of
Castlevania
Shadows and
Castlevania is a series I'm trying to get into because if I'm being honest, I've never sat down and played any Castlevania game until funny, like just the other day, they were doing a sale on the Castlevania collection for the Switch.
mm-hmm.
So I
I
swooped that
haven't.
up. So I've played a chunk of one. It's NES frustrating, and
Yep.
I'm just gonna like retro guy right here, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna sit down and beat that game legit. I'm using save states because it's an NES frustrating game, and I just
Yeah.
can't.
That's
But
fine.
I am enjoying the Genesis one, Bloodlines.
Okay. Honestly, where it peaked for me is Symphony of the Night.
So that's the one everybody swears by, and the one I really want to play. But I haven't seen a good port for it anywhere, except for like DS.
Xbox has one on their store. It was free for a while. I don't
The
know if
Series
it's free
X
anymore.
has it,
I mean, if it's complete, it's a digital download, so I imagine it would be.
but it's like it's legit OG Symphony of the Night, not like a sequel game.
Yes, it's Symphony of the Night. It's basically the emulated version of it. I had it on my Xbox One for sure. I played it.
Oh yeah, I might play that because I've been wanting to get more into like the Castlevania stuff.
Yeah.
The Game Boy games all look like the best ones because I like that Metroidvania kind of.
So
I play the
here-
Metroid games.
Here's what I would say: play the classic, at least the first. I think it's you skip 3 and play 4. There's a weird order because was it Simon's Quest was the worst. I hear.
Uh, yeah, Simon's Quest is pretty bad.
So that's the one you're supposed to skip if you want to get
That's
into
2.
Pennsylvania. But yeah, so do the first like 2 or 3, and then do Symphony of the Night because I can't go back anymore.
Mm.
There's too many creature comforts in this specific. Like in other games, I'm like it's different, right? Like I can go back and play like what was it called? Ghouls and Goblins was another really good one.
Oh
for NES.
god, those games are punishing though, man.
Oh, I loved them, but yeah, they were fucking punishing.
You have to beat it twice.
Yeah. But I'd play that. Unfortunately, I could only ever play it at a cousin's house because he had it and I didn't, and we weren't allowed to pay full price for games. But yeah, Symphony of the Night. That's the only Castlevania game I have pretty much like 100% got cleared every room. Well, I don't know about every secret because I hear there's some obscure ones, but like at least the game told me I'd done good. 'Cause
Yeah,
you can
I definitely gotta dig more into that. I'm actually kind of surprised that Nintendo hasn't made more of like the Game Boy Castlevania games available on the Switch store.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've been trying to find them. They even have some more like JRPG ones.
Oh, I could be into that.
I believe they have like one or two series that but they were only for like the advanced or the next one, I forget. Maybe not JRPG. What it's a lot more like Japanese animation.
Okay.
But they also changed genres with Lord of Shadows, which was my original point. How do you feel about that? Have you ever played Lord of Shadows?
Nope.
Okay, so it's basically if you take Castlevania and do it in a God of War style.
Oh yeah, ew.
You're just not
Oh,
into
so
that?
it's a little more like the N64 one.
Yeah, definitely a lot more like that.
So the reason I'm less into something like that, it's just not what the fans are showing up for, really.
Mm-hmm.
Metroidvania is a genre for a reason. Like those
Mhm.
created that, and so to go, we're doing a new one and we're not fucking doing that. I don't know. It kind of feels like okay, so you're making some shitty side game at best, and that kind of gameplay. I like some of them. I don't like others. Like I like the first 2 God of War games, but this new one that everybody's raving about, I
Oh
actually
yeah,
really
yeah.
don't care for.
And it's not even. I think it's like 4 or something. There was
Well,
a
yeah,
3.
but it's just called God of War again. It's their
Oh yeah, for
sequel,
sure.
not a sequel, reboot, whatever
yeah,
you want
there's
to call it.
it's called a soft boot.
Yeah, I don't. People fucking raved about that game.
Oh yeah, they
I
were like,
don't like it.
It's more Soulsy. I'm like, oh, done.
Yeah,
Like I just don't care. I don't I don't want to fuck with stamina. I don't want to. I just
Yeah.
if I want to hack and slash, I want to hack and slash.
Right. So I like the third person stuff when I can do a little more hack and slashy kind of thing. But now my problem with Final Fantasy and with I guess with Lord of Shadows, whatever you said it was, I'm into this franchise for this thing. I don't
Okay.
know if they've done this with Castlevania where all of them are like that going forward, but with Final Fantasy, its side games are now turn-based games. Main numbered Final Fantasy games no longer turn-based. They've abandoned that. That's dead.
Huh.
And I hate that.
I wonder
hate it.
why they chose to do that. Although
People seem to like it. I'm just not people.
I will say that at least they're still doing fucking single player games.
Yeah,
Because a lot of studios
fair.
have just abandoned the shit out of that.
So dumb.
All right, we are stalling because we're always big. It's a fight. So
That was me stretching.
Yeah.
I was stretching.
I didn't realize if you were giving me the cue to do it,
No, I
or
was
if
just pointing it out.
So we watched some more Star Wars because that's what we do.
Are
I
you sure we didn't talk New Hope last time? Because I thought we did.
You think so?
Pretty sure. Let's go to the chat. Chat, do you remember? Did we talk episode 4 last time? I'm pretty sure we talked New Hope.
I thought we just finished with Rogue One.
I thought because I did the Christmas special in there, which I think is what threw things off.
Okay, because I haven't watched the Christmas special. I mean,
So I did that
I've
one
seen
on
it
a week.
before.
So we did 2. So we did Rogue, and we must have done 4 because we didn't do Han and Rogue at the same time.
Yeah, we did. We did Solo and Rogue at the same time.
Is that what we did? Chat,
Yeah.
save us. Nothing. Chat
We-
doesn't know.
I'm pretty sure we did 1, 2, and 3 in one go. Right? No, we did 1 and 2 in one go because we didn't get through it.
And then we did 3 in Solo.
And then
Then
3.
we did Rogue and 4.
Did we do 3 in Solo? I don't think we did 3 in Solo at the same time.
Because I remember looking forward to just getting to review good ones, which was Rogue and 4.
Okay. All right. Well, it
I remember there was some mention of episode 4, but I thought it was to compare it to one of the other.
correct
films.
because we talked about how seamless Rogue went to 4, and we sort of talked about it, but we didn't fully review it. So
All right. We'll do just in case. We'll do 4, but we'll do a shorter run on 4 and longer on 5,
sure. Yeah.
which is arguably the best one anyways, so it gets more time.
We'll chat. Yeah. So A New Hope. You like The Force Awakens, so you have to like A New Hope,
Yeah, yes.
right? Like I'm not even being mean. It's just kind
No,
of accepted.
they're the
that-
same movie, and I personally read more into that than apparently the writers of 7 did, but yes.
Yeah. So you like it.
Yeah,
Did it-
I mean, how do you not like the thing that started all of it? It's not.
No,
in my
that-
opinion, it's not the best one.
That's
But-
the nostalgia, though. But so you got to cut that shit out. Like
No,
look at it as a
hold
movie.
on. I'm getting there. It's not even the best one, but it is the one that started it, and I really do think it was a strong start. I really do think they kind of came out of the gate with a lot of visual shit, and especially going back, bro, watching the versions on Disney Plus. Look, there's a whole bunch of nasty CG shots where me and my wife keep looking at each other going, was this in the original and they've touched it up with so much bad CG it doesn't look like it's original? Or did they insert this shot years later and now I've seen so many versions I don't know what shots are new and what shots are
I've
original?
had the exact same issue, and I figured out at least one of them in Jabba's palace with the band. That's new. Like not the maybe
yes,
not
yes,
the music,
no, I knew that.
but that
yes.
dancing chick. Like so, yeah. There's shit that's just new, and I go, okay. I remember the dewbacks, I think is what they're called. Weren't
Those
in the
are added.
original. Yep.
There's specifically a scene, it's when they're landing in Cloud City, where they're in space, then you watch the Millennium Falcon land, and then you watch the thing drop. I'm pretty sure in the original, you watch them in space, and then you cut and the thing drops. I don't think that landing sequence was there,
Okay.
because literally the whole shot was CG, so either they scrubbed over a whole shot that I don't know how they pulled off to begin with, or it's just a purely inserted shot. If anybody knows, write us. Because it's such a small, dumb shot that, I guess works, but honestly, it looks like cartoon bullshit slammed
Yeah.
into the middle of a decent movie. Hold on, chat. The only one of George Lucas's films that got the updated enhanced that I enjoy improvements on is THX 1130. I actually I haven't watched that and I really want to.
I own it.
Do you like it or have
Never
you watched
seen it.
Wow. So some of the updates I think are mildly beneficial, but honestly, yeah, I think for the most part the updates hurt. Here's what I will say is good though. Here's the part that I think is mind-blowing and fantastic.
Of 4?
Of actually all of the ones on Disney Plus.
Okay.
All of the original trilogy on Disney Plus. Here's I did see Logan's Run. I like the first half of Logan's Run. I don't like the second half of Logan's Run because it's no longer about Logan's Run. Logan already fucking ran. It's about Logan's return. So
All right, you petty
semantics.
bitch.
Looking at the textures on everything, bro, old film is so bad and grainy. The amount of work and dedication they had to put in. Look at R2D2 and C3PO when you watch it on Disney Plus. Dude, you can see scuffs and scrapes and paint flaws and like they look worn. The droids look old and beaten up, and the Empire stuff is crisp and new. You can see the materials on Vader's cloak. Like, they've done a lot of work to make sure that it is as restored and enhanced as possible, and those parts look fantastic.
Okay, but however, aesthetically speaking, Vader is kind of a goofy looking bastard. Here, when we're no longer in the 70s, we're like, he's got a really big head, and not just that, like his costume itself, like that,
it's bulky and unwieldy.
Like at one point, that front plate in one of the shots just started waving back and forth. I'm like, yeah, that's not attached to anything right now.
And you know, it's an old movie. You gotta take it with a grain of salt, but it looks beautiful.
Oh yeah,
like the care that's put into the detail, and that's one of the things that I think actually really pays off visually for the movie, though. Like the detail, things are grimy and gross when they need to be, and pristine and on point when they need to be.
Yeah,
and just showing the difference between those two worlds is great. The performances in that one are good.
Okay.
Not everybody's not doing a bunch of cocaine offset yet, so we're given some pretty whelmed performances that work.
I forgot how good Harrison Ford can be.
Yeah, Ford is probably the best one in the movie.
Surprisingly, yeah, because I rewatching him and
Peter Mayhew,
Obi-Wan,
Chewbacca.
Oh.
Yeah, Sir Alec Guinness.
Allen Guinness.
I
don't remember. They did fantastic, and to be fair, Chewbacca relays emotion really well.
Yeah, he does. Do you know the original Obi-Wan hated Star Wars until the day he died?
Oh yeah, I've heard. I don't remember why, but I did hear that. Do you remember the story?
He thought it was garbage. He was a Shakespearean actor and just thought it was schlock. It was this. When people would come up to him and ask for autographs, he would tell them he would only autograph Star Wars stuff if they promised never to watch the movie again.
Wow.
He hated them.
That's funny. He was too good for Star Wars, apparently. But they did well. Everybody else is okay.
I think Carrie Fisher portrays Brassy really well, though going back and watching the first two movies, she doesn't have enough screen time. They could have done some more Leia.
They could have, but I will say the scenes that they give her, she's kind of a badass.
Yeah, no, and I like that. You know, everybody was the people who complain that there's not enough like strong women in sci-fi, and then you throw out Ellen Ripley, and they're like, that's a cop out. And then I'm like, okay, is Leia also a cop out? Because there's only one scene that's like super shitty and sexist, and it's the Jabba scene in the third movie, and it's not like anyone is enjoying that except for Jabba. So
yeah, well, to be fair, I will say that it is a product of its time, and a lot of like Han wooing Leia is kind of creepy. He's a little forceful and like, yeah, a little handsy sometimes.
He's kind of verbally forceful, but you know,
again,
it's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, bro. things work different on other planets.
Yeah, fair enough. No, but my whole point is like, as much as she was a really well portrayed character, I didn't mind it. I just recognized it. I'm like, yeah, if you're in a certain type of mindset, you're really not liking this part.
But so my defense is there are real women who would enjoy and go for that. So it's as real life. There you go.
Yeah, you know, it's plausible. It's plausible.
Yeah, it's plausible. Checks out.
But yeah, fucking Han Solo's characterization actually really works.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly, of the main three, his is probably the one that makes the most sense.
The only thing that doesn't make sense is, Chewbacca's this really old Wookiee who worked with Yoda and the Jedi, and Han's like, that shit's just a bunch of made up hooey. Because literally, Chewie's like, no, bro, I actually knew like tons
I don't know.
of them.
That's
we
not
hung
true.
out.
We have a bunch of we have family that doesn't believe in science. So,
Yeah, but to be fair, none of our family knows scientists.
Yeah, but Han didn't know the Jedi.
But Chewie did.
Yeah, but
His
Chewie...
best friend and confidant of years is like, bro, I didn't hear about them. I didn't grow up with legends. Like, we hung out.
Yeah, and then Han's like, it's a stupid religion and you probably were drunk. It's,
You're just a big dumb bear.
So
Han's a little specious towards Chewie is what you're saying?
It's not even specious. It's just, he's like, I just don't buy it. I've never seen anything like it. At least
Maybe
in the beginning.
Chewie knew that there was no point arguing about it or going on about it to Han. He's just done. I actually buy that more, is that Chewie's just done with Han's bullshit at this point.
That's kind of where I'm at. Like I said, we both have family that deny science, so we're like, what do we do? But we just ignore that part. We're like, all right, whatever, you do you.
We just don't talk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's a little silly. It's a little silly.
For sure, but I will say that, and this bleeds over a little bit into 5, but Han's relationship with Chewie is actually, like, heartwarming. Like, they legitimately, like, love each other. It's weird.
Yeah, that's his boy.
Yeah, like...
That's his big, furry man's best friend.
And Chewie, the times where, like, Han gets captured or he's in mortal peril, like... Hearing Chewie cry, I was like, it's getting to me. I'm getting verklempt.
Oh, and Chewie will come at someone.
Oh, yeah.
He'll come at you. He don't give a fuck.
No.
He'll come at you.
Well, because you also got to be reminded that he's a different species, and their species is a lot more feral than humans. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Okay, let's slap a quick rank, because I don't think 4 needs us to like go over plot points or anything. Let's slap a quick ranking on 4, and then we can move on into arguably the best one.
What were we doing out of 5?
5.
4.7.
It's very specific.
Yeah, because I don't want to give it a 4.5 because that puts it around where Rogue One is, and I think this is better than Rogue One.
But you still won't give it a full 5?
No, because it wasn't, even for Star Wars, if we're keeping it within that context, it wasn't perfect. Mark Hamill hadn't quite hit his stride, and it's not that he's whiny, it's that he just uses the same tone of voice to convey the same emotions. To convey different emotions.
Sure.
Right? So, yeah, I'd 4.7 is good.
I'm going to actually just keep it simple, call it 4.5. But that's not me pulling away from this movie. I just think both Rogue One and 7 are probably just as good as 4 is in my book. Like, I would actually say, put on any one of those 3, and I am equally happy. I can sit down and watch any one of those 3 on totally neutral footing.
Yeah, I don't know. I won't say that about 7, not because I don't like it, because I think it's a little too derivative at points.
Well, again, look, we'll go over it more when we get to 7, but I actually think, in my personal headcanon, that actually works very deliberately.
Okay. It just feels by the numbers.
So here's what the sequel trilogy really has working against it is it's not a unified vision.
Yep.
Even 1, 2, and 3. Say what you will about them, at least they were like people weren't happy with big parts of 1 and 2, but they never really deviated from the course heavily. They stayed the course because it was one guy's vision, and he was like, look, this is like, we can do minor course correction, but this is where we're ending up. This is what I'm doing. This is the story I'm telling.
Yeah.
And for better or for worse, at least his trilogy works as this trilogy of movies. 7, 8, and 9 end up feeling really disjointed and really kind of jumpy and all over the place. And it's because it was not a unified vision. But for me, weirdly, that helps 7 in particular. I kind of don't even consider 8 and 9 when talking about 7. So for me, 7 is this movie that still oozes with potential for cool stories to come out of it. It's unfortunate that the story we got went the path it went down, but you can use 7 as this great springboard for other things still. That I think could be really good in the Star Wars universe. Like for me, 7 carries hope and optimism, because when I first watched it, that set me up happy for the trilogy. I was like, fuck me, man. Like, this is the course it needs to go down. It's not the course it went down.
Well,
but it was the course it needed to go down.
Yeah, here's the thing about 7, and again, we'll get into it when we get to it, but for me, it did the same. It set up hope, even though, like I said, it is very much 4. It asked new questions, because in 4 you're left wondering with who's Darth Vader, how does it relate, all these, you have all these questions.
Put yourself in the viewing of like a first time seeing it. What is the Force? Who are these people? What is this empire?
And then 7 leaves all these questions unanswered about the titular character, which is great, because it does set up its place in this. It's working within the same mythos, but it's staking its claim. I think 7 really does. Unfortunately, we all know how it went, and we won't get into that.
Yeah, and again, I really think it's that lack of a unified vision. 8 feels so different than 7, which feels so different than 9. They don't link up and they don't mesh very well. So let's think about one that does have a unified vision. I honestly, and this, I say it's arguably the best one because more often than not, I actually hear this as the fan favorite. I hear more people claim this one than any of the other ones. Okay. Empire Strikes Back, Episode 5. The original 2.
The original 2, indeed. I like it. I like it a lot. I thought Vader was more of a badass in this one than he was in 4. I like that they ramped him up.
I gotta say that, you were mentioning kind of his costume being a little floppy. In 5, the part that kills me is when he is slamming objects into Luke using the Force, and it feels like somebody like on a string is like, we don't want to hurt Mark on this one, guys. Swing it slow. Ha! I'm like, can we at least throw something at Mark Hamill? Come on.
I honestly just thought they're like, well, we're going to let the interns and the pages have a go at it. Just toss some things. And they were all like, we don't want to hurt him. Yeah,
I'm not going to be the one to hurt Mark Hamill.
Yeah, because at one point, especially because after his accident, he's all frail, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I will say that I know why the not the Tauntaun, but the I can't remember the goddamn name of the Yeti. It's a goddamn Yeti.
The Wampa?
Wampa. I almost called it a Womp Rat, but then I realized that wasn't true. I was there. I was always there. But yeah, I realized that they threw that scene in because of the accident.
Yep. 100%. That is.
Yep.
Yeah, you nailed it. That is what that is. Also, I gotta say, the noise the Tauntaun makes is the dumbest sound in all of Star Wars.
Oh my god, it reminded
and it's constant. Like, I love that they don't like, hey, shut those up in the background when they're talking. They're like, nope, keep making it make that noise, because that's what they would do, because they're fucking animals.
Yeah, I mean, legit, right? You try to tell a llama to shut the fuck up. Yeah, I will say that I wasn't sad when it finally died. It reminded me, do you remember the Simpsons episode where It's the X-Files one where
Mm-hmm.
someone steals Shamu.
Yep.
Remember that noise that the whale made? That it was that level of annoying where you're just like, it's funny because
It's so bad.
it's so bad, but they were trying to play it straight because it's fucking Star Wars.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. El Terrible. So, you know what I stumbled into? Like obviously this wouldn't have been originally intentional, but I really have to wonder if this didn't inspire some part of 7. So when rewatching episode 5, I'm watching the whole Luke and Yoda scene, right? And first Yoda's like, too much anger I sense in him. No. And I look at my wife and I'm like, really? Luke? Luke doesn't come off angry to me. Like that's something that they're not conveying
Yeah.
to the audience very well, right? And then, they're kind of they're pulling some other shit. The Luke Yoda thing ain't happening. And then Luke goes to leave and he's like, I'm out. And Yoda's like, no, man, like you're too brash and there's like this prophecy and you're gonna fuck up the prophecy. And Luke's like, sorry, bro, like I'm gonna come back, but I'm the fuck out of here, right?
Yeah.
So to me, that's Luke going like, this Jedi thing, that's not me, bro. The Force is me. I'm down with the Force, but the Jedi thing is just me learning how to better utilize it. I don't necessarily agree with your dogma, right?
Yeah.
And then he dips. And that is when Yoda looks at Obi-Wan and he goes, "Don't worry, another there is." Right? And
Yeah.
and we know that he now meant another Skywalker. But I wonder, you talk about episode 7 and how it's this big circular thing that's exactly like 4 is. I have always said, you can go back and listen to this podcast where we first review episode 7. I've always said, my feelings were, this was the Force restarting the prophecy. The Force was kicking the prophecy. It was aligning those dominoes for this thing to happen for a new person to bring balance to the Force. Because Luke did not bring balance. Balance is not kicking the other side off the field. That's unbalance.
But
all Jedi and no Sith is not balance.
okay, but hold on. That would have only been true if 9 wasn't a thing, because technically the Sith were there all along. It's not like the Force didn't know that the Sith were there all along.
Again, I'm talking about when I watched 7
Fair
and
enough.
the course that I would have taken 7 down.
Okay.
Because 7 had hope, goddammit.
Mm-hmm.
So it was this whole thing where it was re-kicking it off, and then they were, I legitimately thought, like, because I was even leaning into like clearly they were big into like the woke culture stuff, and I was like, okay, what a message where instead of killing Kylo Ren, I'm just gonna rewrite 9 right now. Okay, we're gonna rewrite 9. So
We haven't even watched it again, and we're doing this.
we're gonna rewrite 9. So think from 7. Like, let's just jump. We're gonna erase 8. We're in our brains. We're gonna go from 7 and we're gonna just do 9. We're just gonna end it, right? Here's the better way to go. We already had Luke accidentally kills his father, slays the Emperor. There's only one Jedi left, but what has he been left? A galaxy in tatters. Instead, we go different. Vader doesn't kill himself. Rey doesn't kill Vader, Kylo, whatever. Instead, she sympathizes with him. And he doesn't sell out either. He doesn't go, "You're right, the side of good." Instead, they go, because clearly from 7, like, they had a thing. I wouldn't have gone love, but I would have just said, like, they understood each other, They
Yeah.
both had this resonance with the Force. And they both hit this point where they're like, fuck dark side and light side. Sometimes I'm angry, sometimes I'm happy. The Force is just the Force. As long as you're balanced in yourself and harmonious in yourself, the Force is a thing. So instead of killing Kylo, they convert. Her and Kylo take out Snoke, because at the time it was Snoke, not the fucking Emperor. I was fine with it just staying Snoke. But they take out Snoke. Why wouldn't you have just said Snoke was a failed clone of the Emperor? How was that not? So I would have just left Snoke.
Yep.
And then they take out Snoke, and then, like, Finn and Rey can still get together, because I never saw her with Kylo. I saw him and her kind of becoming forgers of this new path of the Force. She can go to Finn, who the Jedi would have been like, can't fall in love, no love, and she goes, fuck that. I love this dude. Her and Finn could hook up, and she can go, fuck Jedi, gray thing that we're doing. They could have done it like it. There was this really clear, please the millennials, send the story of peace, end it on a different thing, and use the original prophecy to bring the whole story home. It was all right. And then again, watching this bit in episode 5 where Yoda goes, there's another. We all go, there's another Skywalker. But then in 7, how much would your fucking mind have been blown if in 8 Yoda shows up and he's like, told you I did. There is another.
Yeah.
And then you go, oh shit, son.
I will say though that in a couple of words, I like to try and fix the new trilogy. Rey should have been either his cousin, Kylo's cousin, or the twin. It would have made a whole lot more sense. It would have made a lot more of the things make sense.
You know what I was kind of hoping for? When he tells her, like, your parents were no one. Yeah, so were a lot of Jedi's parents. There were a lot of them who weren't even Force sensitive. They were just people who had the next chosen one.
I don't disagree if they hadn't already tried to make it all about the Skywalker clan. Like, again,
but you know where I stand. I'm done with Skywalkers. I'm done. I'm super over more Skywalkers. Like way done. If I was going to put a Solo or a Skywalker in these movies, like before 7 even came out, I actually wouldn't even have done Kylo. I would have done like one or the other. The kid of Skywalker or the kid of Solo, and they would have been like the buddy character. They're around, they're helping, they're more like the Obi-Wan, maybe a teacher, but I never want to focus on another Skywalker again. I'm done with the lineage. The only thing that could be fun is if you do like 2 seasons of a drastic prequel, and at the end of 2 seasons, you find out that like the main character is somehow the first Skywalker. That's the only, and you can't lead with that. You cannot open with the story of the first Skywalker. Fuck you, nobody cares. You gotta blindside them with it and make it cool again.
But again, I feel like because their theme was this is the Skywalker clan, I feel like honestly
it was the Palpatine clan.
No,
Skywalkers only run through 2 of the trilogy. Palpatines are main figures in all 3 trilogies.
Sure, but I will say that, well, no, there's Skywalkers in all of them. Wait, did I lose you?
Well, in 7, I mean, it's just Luke again, but I guess it is Palpatine in all. Well, doesn't that make him the main character? He's the only motherfucker in all 9 books.
But he's no, he's not in 4.
The Emperor is in 4.
Does he actually make an appearance?
He's a hologram.
A hologram. Yeah, fuck that. That's bullshit.
But he's there. That's his shit.
Yeah,
I'm officially going to refer to it as the Palpatine. What's 9? 8 is Oct. What's 9?
You're asking the wrong person. Too much booze and too much accoutrements.
I don't know what 9 is.
But
it's that thing, Illigy. You're welcome.
No, because 8 breaks it. It's not. Basically, there's a giant hole.
I do think if you rewatch 8, I don't think you're gonna like it. Like, I don't think you're gonna walk out of it going, oh, you know what? I was way too hard on it. But I do think you can walk out of it going, there are parts of it that I appreciate. I think there will be parts of it that you walk out and go.
To be fair, you're talking to a guy who likes shit like Sharknado, so I'm gonna find something to like anywhere.
More than that, to a higher degree. Okay, let's wrap up. We talked about 5 without ever talk. We talked about the legacy of 5.
We did.
Sum up 5. Like just give me like one highlight, one low light, and a rating.
Highlight the acting, actually. Uh, I
Even with
felt,
all the cocaine?
I think especially with the cocaine. Um, Han and Leia actually had some legitimate moments.
Yeah.
Chewie when they're freezing Han, oh my god, broke my heart.
Yeah.
The despair in those growls, like if it was a dude or if it was an effect person, whoever did that shit, they were on point. So definite highlights. The story is actually interesting. It's actually more interesting than four, I would say.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Lowlights. Okay, here's a question that I couldn't answer. Obi-Wan talks a whole hell of a lot this one. Was that in the
Yeah.
original? Or did they add
Dude,
more?
I was trying to remember the same shit. I don't think it was.
Because I don't remember him being so fucking chatty.
Yeah, like it was definitely there. Like there's part like you know like
Yeah, but it
Yoda's
was-
listening, but
But it was very mysterious.
but
and it was
it's
very...
all like that was Alec Guinness. Alec Guinness? It was Sir Guinness. So
Are you sure?
that voice was him.
Do you think maybe they took pre-recorded stuff that they had?
He wasn't dead by then.
Yeah.
No,
Well, no,
I
I mean,
don't.
I mean, if they added
Okay, he's Alec Guinness.
if they added it digitally after the fact, it could be just archive footage they had.
Oh,
'Cause
and
it's just
9
audio.
is Enya or Nona. So the nonilogy, yeah, the nonilogy. The nonilogy.
Okay. Hey, Shinona?
So give it a rating. Or no, did you give it a low light? What was your low light?
I honestly think Lando was my low light.
Really?
His motivations don't make sense to me.
He's a scoundrel.
Sure, but then he has a change of heart. Like he's
No. Vader goes back on the deal.
sure, but all he's doing is taking them. That's the only thing he's changed.
He was selling out his buddy to save his city. Now all of a sudden he's selling out his buddy. He's selling out the princess and the leader of a rebellion, and he's selling out his buddy's buddy. That wasn't the deal. That his whole change of heart is because he's a scoundrel, but he's a man of his word. He lived up to his deal, and Vader changed the deal. Fuck that. That's
Yeah,
Lando's
but-
I'm telling you, that's Lando's motivation.
Yeah, but here's the problem. Like he was willing to sell out his buddy for a city, and then he decides to abandon the city.
But he gets to evacuate everybody first.
But still, his whole thing was like, the money I'm making, my current life is the city. I'm willing to give up my old buddy for the city. And then it was like,
But now, so you're also assuming that everybody knows the Empire is evil. The Empire is literally just the government and its military, and now he's finding that they just straight double-crossed him. These guys aren't terrorists. They're literally fighting against some evil-ass shit. His change, trust me, it's legit.
it
Ooh,
just,
excuse me.
I
All
don't
of a
know,
sudden with the
even
hiccups.
seeing how he's characterized in Solo, which I believe was well, I just feel like he'd be more of a scoundrel. And I don't know if he'd join up like that. Like, they would have had to throw some more lines of how he was going to benefit materially, like how they got Han in the beginning.
The thing that Brooke didn't get, she was saying, because like he's like, oh, you know, we go way back, and she's like, so he hasn't seen him since the events of Solo, and I was like, I get the impression they've done a lot more together.
Yeah,
I feel like
Legends went
other
into
jobs
it.
have come up.
Sorry, not Legends.
Legends don't count.
Not Legends, but I guess that it's all called Legends now. But yeah, they did go into it there, but I imagine that's what they're implying. Like they had falling out.
And even like honestly though, I mean even beyond that, they probably had several missions and stories that will eventually come up in books and comics and whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure. So give it a rating. Actually, this is probably the only one that gets a 5, but only within the genre. Like I'm not saying it's a perfect movie, but out of the Star Wars movies, this is probably the better one. I'll agree to that.
Yeah, and honestly, for me, I feel like it's a movie that you can apply a lot of your own head canon, and the movie actually like just gets better, you know?
Mm-hmm.
more like those logical assumptions, like the whole Vader fight scene with Luke. He's not doing all of his twirlies and spinnies and whatever, but it's because he's testing his son. He's fighting on Luke's level. He's not just hamming it up and going at him. That's the kind of a thing, like, nobody says that, but you can absolutely apply the logic and it fits. And there's lots of points like that throughout the movie where you can just kind of extrapolate based on how much we know these other characters now, which is cool. You look like you want to say something.
Well, here's what I'm saying. I'm assuming that Luke was better than we think because something that they always like to criticize about Seven and just Rey in general, that she's a bit of a, what's it, something, a Mary Sue.
Yeah.
But Luke's kind of the biggest Mary Sue. Like, he got how long was that hyperspace journey from Tatooine to Alderaan? Like a week, 2, maybe at the most. So he got 2 weeks of training from Ben, and how long was that adventure in the asteroid field? Maybe 3-4 weeks at most. Yeah. And then all of a sudden he had all these powers. So yeah, credit to Rey. The Force is magic. It's space magic, and we get it done. So that's what I was gonna say about that.
So I'd say my highlight in it, pacing, like the best paced Star Wars movie.
Okay, yeah.
That movie like it moves at a good clip. It's continually interesting. Like you said, the plot is like the plot's a little bit jumpy. You know what I mean? Like the scale just really escalates throughout that movie.
Really draggy.
A little bit, yeah. Where this one, like, we get in, we're moving, shit's happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun. Me, I love a good downer ending, and it's the total downer ending. I love that about it.
Yep.
Lowlights. The end is all a little convenient.
Yeah.
It's a little simple, and the most famous scene, no, I am your father.
Yeah,
no! I actually think Hamill's a little hammy in it.
Oh my god, I was thinking the same thing, and I was like, I don't want to disrespect the legend, but that was not
and I'm not saying
believable.
it's bad. It's not like unwatchable, but he's a little hammy in it. It comes off a little cheeseball.
I will say, acting wise, is the low light. That would be the low light of the movie.
It's a little cheeseball, but it's still a lot of fun.
Also, I expected to like 3PO more, and I actually dislike him more.
My wife was like, he's seriously like unbearable.
Yeah, like never Jar Jar Binks, but he is this trilogy's Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
He's a lot of people are very much endeared with him, and I've always liked R2 better, but he's just an obnoxious little shit. Like, if he can talk to the ship, why didn't he just do that and get all the information? Why they always got to be guessing?
Yeah, no, he's kind of a fucking nightmare. So as far as the ranking, yeah, I gotta go. This is the 5 out of 5 one. Like, this,
yeah,
such a solid movie. Really, really just spot on, well done, top down. The other low light, I think Boba Fett's a little. His big appearance is a little like he doesn't do much.
I don't understand how he got so popular.
Did you end up watching the holiday special?
Not yet.
Oh, dude, it's on YouTube. My disc doesn't work, so
I hate it.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's just
but I will
boring.
Say there were 2 parts me and Brooke laughed our asses off. We were drinking, but we laughed our asses off.
Was one of them with the grandpa Wookiee?
No, that was just horrifying and weird.
Right? Okay, good. I just want to know if I never wanted to talk to you ever again.
The cooking bit was really funny because it was just mad. And then there was this whole thing with like an advertiser who's like glitching out, and it was insane, and it went on way too long, and that was really fun.
Yeah, I have no idea. It's like,
and Carrie Fisher on way too much cocaine.
I feel like they all were on a whole lot of cocaine, like piles of it.
They've said as much. They're all drunk and high while they film that.
That sounds great. Can someone pay me to do a movie while drunk and high?
Honestly, the we're gonna go a little bit over because of this, but the best part about the whole holiday special is put your mindset in a kid like as a kid in 1970 who really had to convince your parents to not watch whatever they were going to watch on TV that night and instead take the only TV in the house and tune it to the Star Wars holiday special. You're like, no, Dad, it's Star Wars. It's going to be really cool. And then that shit just kept playing. Like, I could just see fathers like screaming at their kids, like, what the fuck did you put on? What is wrong with you?
Well, it's funny though because I feel like they may be into it because they liked variety shows a whole lot more back then than we do now.
It did not go over well at the time.
It is fucking horrible.
It was considered bad even the first time.
Yeah, they meant special, not special. Yeah, it did not work out. All right,
play us out.
Check us out Monday nights on In5D Podcast on YouTube. We go 7 to 8 recording this podcast live. We are on iTunes and Podbean, Bias Bros, every other Thursday, also via iTunes. We have twitch.tv/Metagame Network is where we do our Tuesday show doing multiplayer. And I've been playing a lot of Killing Floor 2 because that's a game that everybody has and everybody can join in. Check us out there. That is 7 to 9. All right, Bonsai. Last words. No.
I look forward to the next 2 Star Wars movies. That's me being positive.
Right, yeah, I actually think they're pretty good, the next 2. On that note, yeah, bye.
Bye.